Hi guys, I hope you're all well. So today I'm going to talk about why you shouldn't exercise, and this may surprise some of you. Okay, avoiding becoming sick during this COVID-19 pandemic is vital. We all know that. So you need to help your body get rid of harmful fluids and moistures. Follow a diet and preserve body's dryness in general, which means you have to keep your body hydrated all the time. You need to drink plenty of water. I would like to warn you against strenuous sporting activities and taking frequent baths. Why? When people are actually going outside and they carrying on with the normal physical sporting activities, there's very strenuous, they exercising to exhaustion. What happens then is that you deplete your body from all the minerals, the fluid, and also you lose energy, so which is glycogen and glucose, which at the same time, because your skin, the pores are dilated, there's a vasodilation in the body, you're more susceptible and prone to catching other flus and colds. All right, so this is why, because the human body contains harmful substances that are latent, which sometimes become activated and by sport and frequently taking bath. They might then mix with the beneficial substances in the body and cause several ailments. Therefore, to prevent harmful substances in your body from getting irritated and aroused during this pandemic, stay calm and avoid sporting activities outside. So don't go outside to carry on with your sporting activities, and then don't just go all out. Stay at home, stay calm. Being at rest and staying calm is better for your heart and your body in this situation, preventing you from falling sick due to breathing polluted and contaminated air. And also avoid contact with those affected by the COVID-19 to avoid catching the coronavirus. So I mean, the government has advised us all to stay at home and remain calm. So we need to follow this advice, and at the same time we need to look after yourself. We need to look after our personal hygiene. We need to look after our physical health. We need to look after our mental and emotional health. As you can imagine, because everybody's locked down, we are all in self-isolation. We are confined in our houses, in our homes. It's important to keep your emotional health and your mental health, physical health in check. You can do very light and brisk exercises at home. You can do, there's a lot of videos of people have shown how to do exercises at home, but minimum space required. You don't need to have a field to run up and down. You can do yoga, you can do stretching, you can do meditation. There's a lot of mindfulness techniques you can do to stay engaged. You can read books, but unfortunately there are a lot of people who are just watching too much news, which is all negative, all about COVID-19, all about the total number of deaths here and there. It's very alarming for the brain, for the body. You cannot help yourself to avoid these things. If you're 24 hours watching the news, you're on social media, you're bombarded with the COVID-19, the number of deaths. So what happens psychologically, this affects you. And then based on that psychological input, what you perceived, what you watched, your body produces those kinds of stressful hormones, which is released in your bloodstream and is being pumped around your body from your heart, and this causes depression and anxiety over time. So try to avoid all of that. I know that people are just taking advantage of the situation, but in a negative way, rather than reflecting, thinking what we could do to prevent this disease from spreading, how we can help ourselves, our family, because everybody was working before this. Now everybody's at home. Most of us are maybe jobless. Some people probably have lost their jobs. They have extra stress to deal with, and at the same time involved in home responsibilities. with the kids. So just remain calm, stay with your kids, try to enjoy them, try to be productive and do something worthwhile, rather than just watching the news and spreading the news. Okay, there is no need. We have the media, we have the news channels to spread all this news, which is not really needed. It's fair enough they're giving us an update. You don't need to bombard yourselves with all this negative news, which will affect your personal health. Okay, end of the day, it's your health that's important. It's our health that we need to look after. It's our family's health that we need to look after and be aware. Not what's happening in the news, because we cannot prevent that. We cannot stop that. What has happened has happened. All right. If the total number of deaths in this country, in that country, or even in the UK, it's all affecting us. It's all affecting you. So avoid it. Please do not share things irresponsibly to your friends, to your family, because you don't know how much these video clips, these words that have effect on other people. So rather stay positive, with a positive mind, with an open mind, and be very hopeful, persevere, endure. This is gonna pass. In the past, if you look at the history, there's been, you know, natural disasters, there've been wars, there have been you know, this kind of influenza diseases. It's just a cycle. The cycle is just repeating itself. So this does not mean we have to give up. Okay, so this should make you, you know, to think, to reflect, to better ourselves, to better our life, to prevent these things happening in the future. There's a lot of people like Bill Gates and other people that have predicted this. You know, people in the health sector, they did predict this. But unfortunately, because people as we are, we don't tend to take things seriously until it happens to us or around us. Then we think, oh my God, you know, what do we do now? It's always prevention is better than cure. Look after your health, have a very healthy, nutritious diet, stay at home, don't eat too much, don't overload your body. What happens, the people are having 2, 3, 4, 5 different meals, you know, different food, different dishes put together. That's very bad, very harmful for our body. What we need to do, we just need to have 1 or 2 dish. You know, a lot of people having this diseases, multiple complications, different ailments, is because of what they put inside our body. The worst vessel to fill, according to the saying of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, is our stomach. Okay, we need to divide our stomach in 3 portions, in 3/3. 1/3 for water, 1/3 for air, and 1/3 for food. And we do not need to go above and beyond this. You see, in the field of nutrition, you know, people are making things very complicated. You know, we can avoid a lot of illnesses, a lot of diseases, whether it's a communicable disease or non-communicable diseases, just by looking after ourselves, just by eating moderately, just by reducing our portion sizes, just by keeping our body healthy, just by keeping our mind healthy. What happens is that we live in an era that everybody's is concerned with the material gain, with the status, with position. Nobody's actually thinking how to better themselves personally, whether it's physical health, whether it's mental health, emotional health, and then we can spread it to our family, and we can spread it to our society and communities at large. So these are the things that I see that we as human beings, we create the problem ourselves. We create the problems ourselves, and because we are careless, it affects everybody else. Okay, this epidemic now is not pandemic. Okay, it's now global. This disease is going globally. This virus is going globally. There are people who's talking about, you know, who caused this, who created this, whether it's China, whether it's America. That's another political story, whether this was a biological warfare. You never know. You never know. Even if it is, you know, what we can do. The only thing we can do is look after ourselves, look after our families, and hope for the best. Because there are people who are irresponsible, doing things, even having bad thoughts. Believe it or not, it affects everybody else's consciousness. So the field of consciousness is actually being affected by the negative thoughts that everybody have in their minds, whether it's me, you, or whoever. So even our thoughts can affect the field of consciousness and overall create an illness. If you're constantly keeping negative thoughts and, you know, watching negative things, yeah, this becomes your world. So what you perceive, what you put in your mind, that crystallizes in your mind, in your brain, and that becomes your reality. And you cannot escape from that reality, because you create a matrix. You know, your life will be full of negativity. You spread negativity, you watch negativity, you think negativity, and this pessimism will annihilate human consciousness and psychology. So as well as our physiology, as well as our health, it's detrimental to our health. So it's not just what we do, it's what we think as well. What you think is what you become. But people are not taking this seriously. The words, the negative words that you say has an effect on individuals and on yourselves. It affects it affects your whole physiology, and your physiology, it releases all this negative hormones, which, you know, which will spread around your body and it will paralyze you. This is very serious. We need to really think deeply. As humanity, we need to wake up. This is a wake-up call. I think this is a wake-up call for humanity, to make us realize what we're doing with ourselves, what we're doing with our communities, what we are doing with our environments, how polluted, how we keep our environments. You know, there's rubbish everywhere. People are just being careless, throwing things around just because no, their doorstep, they don't care, because they don't realize we live in a society, in a community that we need to keep it clean. You know, all this virus started because of this this malpractices of certain individuals, certain communities, and that's how it is. You can't run. You can't. I have this mindset. We cannot say to ourselves, "I don't care." You know, there's a lot of people, things you say to them, they say, "I don't care." You know, you care now. You do. You say you don't care, but you do care. When it comes to you, when it knocks on your doorstep, you know, when the virus spreads like a wildfire, you know, globally, and it's becoming a pandemic, then you say you care, it's too late. Too little, too late. As humanity, I say we need to wake up. You know, we need to wake up. What we think about, what we engage in, does not help humanity at large. Whether it's the warfares, whether it's the, you know, the weapons of mass destruction, whether it's biological weapons, it doesn't help humanity. As a human being, we need to be human. We need to realize, look at today, all the superpowers of the world. Now, what can they do? What can you do? You know, the tiny microscopic coronavirus that we can't even see it with our naked eye, microscope, let alone our naked eyes. We cannot do anything about it. Everybody's on a lockdown. Everybody's on self-isolation, confined and in their homes. You know, all the superpowers are just, you know, at home. Prince Charles apparently has coronavirus. And Boris Johnson, apparently, I don't believe, but I think, you know, according to him, he's got a coronavirus. You see, so viruses, diseases at this scale, it does not discriminate, right? Whether you're rich, you're poor, you're powerful, you're religious, you're non-religious, you're faithful, you're unfaithful, you're good, you're bad, it affects you. But the only difference is, if you're a good person, and if you're a law-abiding citizen, and if you have a good character and conduct, this is a blessing. But if you're a bad person, you know, and you're not good for yourself, you're not good for your family, you're not good for your community, and you're not a good leader, and you're a careless leader, like today's leaders around the world, they're all careless. This is why everybody else, the poor nations, poor people, suffers around the globe, and still people don't wake up. And this is shameful, quite shameful. Look, this coronavirus is making us think, right? We are all at home, we're self-isolated, we're just eating, sleeping, and being very unproductive. Look around the globe. You know, people are suffering and dying of starvation. We didn't care about them. People don't have drinking water. We don't care about them. People are now dying of starvation in Yemen and all third world countries in Africa, in the war-torn countries like Syria, Libya, Afghanistan, Iraq, Yemen, Somalia, the rest of the nations. Who cares? Nobody cares. Nobody does anything about it. You see, I don't want to become political, but the point is that we are irresponsible human beings. Okay? The moment we start and think, reflect, ponder, change our direction, the moment the world will change. The sooner as individuals we change, the sooner the world will change. Like I said, this field of consciousness is everybody's in it, right? If you do one thing, it affects everybody else. It's like a Wi-Fi. You're all sitting down. Imagine a Wi-Fi. You're sitting down in this restaurant or you're at home. Every member of your family, your sons, your daughters, your brothers, sisters, using that same connection, same Wi-Fi. Yeah. If something happens to a Wi-Fi, there's a disconnection. That's it. None of you can use it. None of you can use the internet. Okay, you can't do what you are doing. If you're watching a video or you're researching, you're reading a book online, something, that stops. Why? Because everybody's phones or devices are connected to the same Wi-Fi. Okay, so this is the same thing. Our consciousness is all connected. We are all connected as human beings. The sooner we realize this, the better for us as humanity. And this is not a joke. It's very deep, it's very profound. We need to think about this very carefully. We need to stop making jokes. We need to actually sit down, stop reading, stop writing, stop everything, and just reflect for an hour also. I know it's very hard for people to just sit down, and be mindful, don't do nothing, and enjoy the now, the present. But people just, people are people. We're all people. We do things, we don't realize the consequences to ourselves and to other people. And this is very, very unfortunate. Okay, and this is the reality. All right, I don't want to take much of your time, guys. I started with one thing, I ended up with another thing, but this is the nature of this world. And as human beings, we are responsible. We are responsible for this. We are responsible for ourselves. And we cannot let the future to go on like this. Okay, we all can do our bits. We all can do our bits. The moment we awaken ourselves, awaken our consciousness, the moment that there be sunshines and rainbows. I really sincerely believe that. The moment that we become awakened individuals, conscious individuals, that's the time when the world, the global consciousness will change. You might know now it's becoming a global family. We are a global family, whether you hate it, whether you like it, whether you're in Africa, in Asia, in Australia, in Canada. Now this world of globalization, this advancement in science and technology is connecting everyone as a global family in a global village. All right, so we all need to take responsibility with our health, with our wealth, with our consciousness, with everything. All right, we all can prevent future pandemics, future diseases, future wars, yeah, future starvations. This is very sad. It's only now because of the coronavirus that we are actually thinking. But when the news was showing maybe the bits of what's happening around the globe, because everything is being filtered, or some of the news or broadcasting companies do not share certain news. But people, our brothers and sisters around the globe, the humanity is dying every day. Every day, every second, there's somebody's born, a baby's born. Every second, somebody dies. Right? Most of it may be, natural causes, natural disasters, or their destiny. But a lot of them, the problems are caused by our own hands. The starvation around the globe can stop. People, they don't have clean water to drink. Can stop. How much is a water well? How much does it cost to build a small village for those who are homeless? You know, if Akon, for example, one person was able to help a lot of people, you know, if Bill Gates can help a lot of people, if other multi-billionaires, you know, a lot of business people, businessmen, you know, the governments can help, we all can help. We all have a part to play. It's like a watch. You see, every bit, every part, every mechanism in the watch ensures for the watch to work. We're all in it together, whether you hate it, whether you love it, but this is the reality. All right, I don't want to take much of your time. Like I said, all the best. Look after yourselves. Please, 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 once again, do not you know, go crazy. Do not get yourself involved in a strenuous exercise that will lead you to exhaustion, and that will obviously affect your health. So because of you doing all these exercises to prevent, you know, you catching coronavirus, but in turn, you know, you're making yourself more susceptible and prone to the disease. Okay, so we need to be very, very careful about our actions and conduct and whatever that we do. So don't try to be smart and doing things in one direction, and it's going to be, you know, counter-effective on the other side. All right, so all the best. Thank you very much. Peace.